time, and thank you for being on this call today.
Thanks, David. Happy to be here. And yes, I do have new stuff that nobody has seen before. So stay tuned. I know some of you have already heard, parts of the presentation from, Joe and Mark and maybe myself and others. And it's great to get new perspectives and I think relearn the same information. It helps it all sink in. But hopefully today, my approach is to give you a little bit of a deep dive into the science behind collagen and collagen plus and why this product is so incredible. I mean, the demand for it is going to be great. It continues to climb. It's a huge marketplace. And, for young and old alike, people really need the benefits of these collagen peptides and what's the difference there. And so hopefully I can give you a few new nuggets that you haven't heard before and some new and exciting slides. So let's go to the next one. Little background here to start out with collagen. So what is collagen? As you can see here, it provides strength and structure to the body. It's found in bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and the skin, which is the purpose of the product today. Has a characteristic amino acid sequence. As you can see on the right there, we have a picture of a rope because collagen has a rope-like structure to it. It's 3 really long chains of amino acids that are wrapped around each other. In fact, each chain has about 1,000 amino acids. So you get 3,000 plus amino acids that are all wrapped around each other. And glycine is the 3rd amino acid in that sequence. So it's usually glycine followed by X and Y, where X represents proline and Y represents hydroxyproline. But those can actually vary and change to other amino acids as well that make up the structure of collagen. But you can see how it's wound up tight. It gives a lot of structure and strength to the skin and these other tissues in the body. And of course, it's important. It's great. And when we're young, we produce it like no other, like when we're youthful. The problem is with aging, and this decrease starts at an early age, even 18 plus. So even for all the 20 and 30-year-olds that think that my collagen is doing just great, it's already going downhill. And on average, over the course of our lifespan, we naturally lose that ability by 1.5%. That collagen naturally decreases. And so we need something to do about it. And so what is our solution? Next slide. Our solution is obviously going to be our product, but this is also important to understand is that it's not just an age-related thing because collagen declines with aging, but it also declines with many other environmental factors, especially sun exposure. And I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. And as you can see here, when you compare young skin, it's been stained red. You can see the collagen. It's very plump, right? Very healthy, supporting up the skin. With old skin at age 75, you can see that it's been degraded a little bit. It's not holding up the skin quite as well. There's some lines and wrinkles that form. But old skin at 75 plus sun exposure, look at how it degrades that collagen. I mean, it almost makes it disappear inside of the dermis of the skin to be able to hold up the skin structure properly. And if you want to click through, there's an animation here that comes in where you can see a schematic representation where you can see with young skin, it's really good. A lot of collagen holds up the skin just nicely. With old age, you lose some of the collagen and the lines and wrinkles start to cave in a little bit. But with sun exposure, which is the #1 cause of premature aging on the skin, that's why we always recommend use good quality sunscreen, right? Cover up and take your vitamin D in place. What it does is it degrades that collagen and those lines and wrinkles, they begin to form a lot deeper, right? They cave in a lot more. And that's where those signs of aging are really accelerated when you're exposed to the sun. Next slide. So our solution is collagen plus. Collagen we know is super important. It's the most abundant protein inside the body, and we have many different types. The answer to all of this is our product. So we have bioactive collagen peptides, and we'll talk about those, plus lutein, plus phytoceramides. So this is a unique formula and blend that doesn't exist in the marketplace. And there are very specific reasons for the sourcing behind each of these ingredients and how they complement each other to create this incredible, innovative beauty from within supplement. Next slide. Now, collagen peptides are superior to collagen, right? A lot of people think that all collagen is created equal, and it's not true, right? It's actually very, very different when you compare collagen as a very big protein. It has a molecular weight of 300 kilodaltons. compared to collagen peptides that are very small. They have an average molecular weight in the single digits. So you're talking 100 times smaller. And because of that, there are several advantages where they're better digested, they're better absorbed, and they're better distributed inside the body to do what they're supposed to do, which is actually stimulate new collagen and elastin production inside of the skin. Now, that being said, yes, there are products out there that just have collagen, and of course, the collagen peptides are going to be superior, but a lot of other products still use collagen peptides. And so the question is, are all collagen peptides created equal? And the answer is no. So in this next slide here, you're going to see what's a little bit different about the source of collagen peptides that we use and why we call them bioactive collagen peptides, because bioactive is a term that means that these peptides are active in the cells for producing more collagen and more elastin. That's super critical, and I'll get to that later. But as you can see here, there is this incredible process that it goes through where it begins as collagen. If you remember, it's those three really long strands or chains of amino acids that are tied together, and it goes through a controlled treatment, usually heat, that separates or denatures those strains of amino acids. And that's what forms gelatin, actually. So it's just denatured collagen. Well, from that denatured collagen, then it goes through a specific enzymatic hydrolysis reaction. This is why it's a hydrolyzed peptide product. And what that does is that it actually breaks up those amino acids, those long chains, into very small groups of amino acids that we call peptides. Now, this is where the science is super unique, because there's been a lot of testing and studies on finding the optimal size of these peptides. And this is a patented composition, these bioactive collagen peptides, of 2 kilodaltons that are the most effective for stimulating collagen and elastin production. Because the research shows that even small differences in the average size or weight of these peptides can make a dramatic impact on their ability to actually do what they're supposed to do. So in the next slide, what you're going to see here is that there are two modes of action for these peptides, okay? We have one, building blocks. Now, building blocks is what you're going to get from any collagen or any collagen peptide, okay? These are just randomly broken down inside of the digestive tract to be able to support collagen in the body. That's important, but by far the more important action is the cell signaling. Now, cell signaling is why this unique fingerprint or this unique size of average collagen peptides is so important, because they're so small that they can actually be absorbed sufficiently intact. That means that these small peptides aren't broken down randomly because they've already been processed, right, to have the right optimal size to be able to bind to these receptors. Receptors are these things on the outside of a cell that when they interact with certain compounds, they send signals to the middle of the cell, right, of the nucleus and the DNA to be able to say, hey, you need to do your job and make whatever protein that's going to be important from that particular signal. In this case, it's these very small bioactive collagen peptides that are able to bind to that receptor and then stimulate more collagen and more elastin production in the skin. Now, this is super crucial and important to understand, because a lot of people think, oh, well, it's just collagen, it's going to be digested, and then it just makes magically new collagen inside the body again. Well, it doesn't work like that, right? You need these specific fragments or sizes of peptides to be able to bind to the receptor to make your body actually make new collagen and make new elastin. And so this is why having the right size is crucial, and this is why not all collagen peptides are created equally. Another key point here is that the bioactivity is independent of the different collagen types. Now, we talk about collagen type 1, type 2, type 3. There's 28 different types of collagen inside the body. Now, 90% of it is made up of type 1, type 2, and type 3. And type 1 is the most abundant by far. And in fact, that's our source. We're using a type 1 bovine collagen peptide source that's been highly purified and cleansed and processed in a very specific way, in a patented way, to make the size of these peptides. But the activity is independent, right? Collagen type 1, right, is found in the skin and in other tissues. Type 2 is found primarily in cartilage and in other tissues in the body as well. Type 3 is usually kind of a partner collagen to type 1. But you might be asked, like, well, what about this other product that has 3 types of collagen or 5 types or 10 types of collagen? Is more types better? the answer is no, because bioactivity isn't necessarily about the type of collagen. Bioactivity is about the size of these peptides that are able to bind to that receptor and then produce more collagen and elastin. So that's the key. And the other part of the answer to that question is that, well, if bioactivity is independent of all of these other types, it's about getting the right size and getting an effective dose of these peptides that are able to stimulate more collagen and elastin inside of the skin. Okay, next slide. This is one of those new slides that you haven't seen before. So pay attention here, because I really want to dive in and help you understand what this is all about. So these bioactive collagen peptides have been optimized for beauty. This is significant here because different peptides might be optimized for different tissues in the body. The purpose of our product is all about beauty from within and skin and nail benefits. And what you can see here is that these peptides have the highest stimulatory effect of collagen synthesis in collagen producing skin cells called fibroblasts compared to generic collagen peptides. Now, as you can see here on the graph, this is an in vitro collagen biosynthesis. So this is an analysis looking at how much collagen is actually being produced from these peptides. And as you can see, there is a very dramatic and significant difference between our source and your common or your typical collagen peptide source that you're going to see in the marketplace. And then you go even further and compare that to gelatin. Like I talked about before, gelatin is simply collagen that's been broken down or denatured. So it has all of the same compounds, all of the same amino acids, but it doesn't stimulate collagen. And this is key because digestion is a very random process in the body. So even though your body is going to break down those compounds, that doesn't mean that it magically creates or produces new collagen and elastin inside of the skin. You need those specific peptides. So they've already been broken down into the Goldilocks size, if you will, or the perfect or optimal size to be able to stimulate new collagen and elastin. You also compare that to proline and glycine, or even a peptide called glycine proline, that combination. Even those building blocks, as I mentioned before, glycine is the most abundant amino acid that's found in collagen, but on its own, does it stimulate collagen? It actually doesn't. Even though it's a building block, it's an important player. This is the key to the science and these bioactive collagen peptides and why we call them such. So the important thing to remember here is that in looking at the different sources of collagen peptides, we were really impressed with these bioactive collagen peptides for this very reason, in addition to their confirmation of these significant effects in clinical studies, in human clinical studies. And I'm going to show you a sampling of some of these studies. Keep in mind, there are others that I'm not even going to show you today because we want to focus our attention on some of these key benefits that we see with our source. So on the next slide here, let's jump into some of these clinical studies. And these are impressive. And I get excited about this because first, let's talk about the skin elasticity claim. A 15% increase in skin elasticity. This is a study where you look at the measurement of elasticity in the skin. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is how elastic or the snapback quality of your skin. So when you're young and have youthful skin and good levels of collagen and elastin, it snaps back very quickly, kind of like a rubber band. But when we get older and we lose some of those structural proteins, what happens is, you pinch the skin and it kind of stays out there a little bit longer, right? It loses that snapback quality. And a 15% increase in 4 weeks' time is actually an incredible, dramatic change in a very short period of time. And that effect was actually maintained after 8 weeks. And this is at the clinical effective dose that we use in our product of 2.5 grams of these bioactive collagen peptides. Please note here that in the study, there was actually an up to a 30% increase in skin elasticity, especially in the older group from about 50 to 55 years. And that makes a lot more sense because the older we get, the more of these proteins that we lose. And so there's more room to see a greater difference or a greater change in the result of taking this product. Number 2 study, 20% decrease in the appearance of wrinkle volume. This is significant because this is a study that's looking at the lines and wrinkles around the eye area, so kind of the crow's feet area. And you can see at baseline, you have that difference between the placebo. At 4 weeks, there's a really good change. And at 8 weeks, there's an even better change, right? Up to a 20% decrease in the appearance of wrinkle volume. So going down here is good because it's showing that decrease or that decline in the lines and wrinkles that you can see on the skin on the face. What's interesting about this study as well is that there was actually an up to 50% decrease in the appearance of wrinkle volume or the deepness of those lines and wrinkles after 8 weeks of supplementation in some of the subjects. The reason I share with you that more impressive number is that maybe not everyone expects to see it. We want to see and give you results that you can actually expect. Your average consumer, your average person, this is on average what we see, but some people are definitely going to see more dramatic results even from the clinicals that we see. Number 3, this study right here on nail growth, you might think, well, why would they study nail growth or even broken or chipped nails in terms of a collagen supplement? And the answer is that, well, collagen is also found in our nails. I mean, we have other proteins as well too, but collagen plays a structural role, and it also is important for nail growth. And as you can see here in the study, over 24 weeks, it took a little bit longer, but there was an average 12% increase in the nail growth rate. And if you read the details of the study, you'll see an over 40% reduction in the broken nails or in the chipped nails as well. So definitely a great proof of concept study that it's not just about the skin, but it's also about the nails. And if you were to ask me after, there's going to be other studies as well, looking at other key attributes as well. But this is going to be the focus for the product, focusing on beauty and skin and nail health overall. Next slide. So this is talking about these bioactive collagen peptides at the same dose. This is actually from the same study looking at lines and wrinkles, showing that reduction. And it makes sense that we see such a dramatic reduction because of the dramatic increase in procollagen type 1, which is the precursor right before collagen type 1. So for all intents and purposes, you can see an increase of 65% in collagen type 1 in the skin in as early as 8 weeks of supplementation. Now, this is significant and important because when you think about this, if your ability to make new collagen declines by about 1.5%, and the average is usually about 1% to 2% over the years, and that accelerates with aging, well, if you can boost that by 65% in 8 weeks of supplementation, right, you can provide a very youthful level of collagen or restore a youthful level of collagen in the skin and elastin in the skin in a very short, significant period of time. And so it really goes to show you how powerful these are and that we do have the right size of these peptides to be absorbed intact and then stimulate that collagen synthesis inside of our skin to actually make new collagen and make new elastin. Another significant point here is that I've read a lot of the studies in the industry on collagen and different collagen peptides. A lot of the studies, they don't even measure collagen. You know, some of them, they look at reduction in lines and wrinkles and other aspects of skin health and skin smoothness and different things like that. But a lot of them don't even measure the difference in collagen. One study in particular that I looked at just recently showed a non-significant 3% increase in collagen production in the skin. And so when I look at that as a scientist, I say, well, no wonder you're not going to see the same results with that source of collagen peptides because it wasn't even significant. And it was only a 3% increase. You compare that to a 65%, you're talking about 20 times greater collagen synthesis in the skin compared to another study where they actually look at and analyze the collagen in the skin for the limited studies that actually do that kind of research. So very, very impressive. And I kind of geek out when I look at this data and the science, and it really impresses me. And I hope it impresses you too, as a sales leader or as a consumer of this product. Next slide. Okay, that's a little bit of the science on these collagen peptides, on that source, why it's so incredible. But it's important to understand that the product is not just about collagen peptides, even though that is the hero ingredient. We specifically blended it with the lutein and the ceramides that I'll get to be able to complement each other and provide unique benefits that you're not going to see in typical supplements in the marketplace. Now, when it comes to other collagen supplements, we handpicked a carotenoid called lutein from marigold flowers. In fact, when you see the beautiful packaging, you'll see that there is a picture of marigold to represent, the source of lutein that goes into this formula. Now, lutein is very important, and we've known about this a long time on the Pharmanex side, and just the science and the research. Lutein is a very powerful and important antioxidant. We know that it's found in the eyes. We know that it's found in the brain, and specifically for this product, we know that it's found in the skin. And we can actually measure that difference with the biophotonic scanner that I'll get to. But specifically, lutein has very unique properties. I call it a super antioxidant because of its ability to protect against oxidative stressors like blue light. Now you think about blue light exposure in your day-to-day life. You know, we get it from LEDs, we get it from screens, right? So your phone, your laptop, I mean, your computer, you may have like 3 of them going at the same time, right? And in addition to that, sunlight is a very prominent source of blue light as well. And lutein, what it does is it kind of acts as this filter. So what it does is it is able to filter out that blue light. So it actually takes and absorbs some of that light, and it filters it out actually at a different wavelength, part of the science behind the scanner. But that filtering process is really what makes lutein a very protective ingredient for the skin. Now think about it. If you're going to take a product that boosts collagen like ours does, don't you want the best science and the best ingredients to complement that increase in collagen? In other words, don't you want lutein at an effective dose to be able to protect your skin against the ravages of aging and oxidative stressors like blue light and so many other oxidative stressors? You think about other free radical sources from, you know, our environment, from free radicals, from pollution. I mean, you name it, but blue light is kind of a key trigger there for a lot of us, and protecting our skin from that with lutein is a super critical benefit that makes our product unique. And when you look in the beauty from within space, it's a very unique ingredient. You know, many others will use, you know, maybe some collagen, a very popular ingredient, or collagen peptides, along with some other ingredients, oftentimes not even in close to effective doses. Ours has lutein for that unique benefit and the unique ability to actually measure that difference with the scanner. So high five to lutein for boosting your glow, right? You want that radiant, youthful, glowing, young appearance on the skin. Lutein is definitely adding to that benefit there. Next slide. So let's talk about these ceramides that we have, or phytoceramides. Phytoceramides is just a term where we want to reiterate the natural source, or the phyto or plant-based source of these ceramides. So they're a plant-based source that comes from ceramides from wheat lipid extract. They're great for skin hydration and for helping protect your skin's natural moisture barrier. The way that ceramides work in the skin is they're a barrier on the outside layer of your skin, and what it does is it's a barrier that helps your skin to retain moisture. So from the outside, it's kind of keeping that moisture in so that it doesn't evaporate out. So when you look at the studies behind wheat lipid extracts and moisture and benefits in the body, one of the key things to point out there is that it really helps to reduce that transepidermal water loss, which is a scientific term for how much water is lost on a day-to-day basis just from skin and evaporation and the environment. And so helping to keep that in gives kind of that youthful, you know, plump, moisture looking and feel to the skin. And that's one of the great reasons why we actually use this ingredient as well. Some people might ask or question, well, why not hyaluronic acid or other ingredients? And of course, we considered all of them. One of the great things about this is that it helps to keep the moisture in. And in terms of hyaluronic acid, there's actually some nice research on the lutein ability in vitro to be able to actually make or produce new hyaluronic acid, or boost that inside of the skin as well. And so we kind of get the best of both worlds, and being able to support that from the moisture standpoint, in addition to the collagen peptides, plus the wheat lipid extract. And some people are going to ask, and so I want to make this clear here. Well, it's a wheat lipid extract, so well, what about gluten, and what about those that have gluten sensitivities? You know, the great news about it is that we have a specification on our documentation that it only can have equal to or less than 20 parts per million. Okay, that's at the level where the FDA says you can actually make a gluten-free claim. Now, we're very conservative as a company. We're not going to make a gluten-free claim, but we have that specification in there in place because we did want to make sure that it is going to be okay for those that have, you know, gluten sensitivities, knowing that it's at the level where it's at that detection limit, so to speak. So super minuscule. The other thing to keep in mind there is that it's a 70 milligram extract. So you compare 70 milligrams of wheat to, you know, gram levels that you get, you know, in a piece of bread or in other things like that. So when you consider the very extreme small amount combined with just 20 parts per million, you're talking about, you know, 0.000, you know, some odd number. I haven't done the math in my head, and I can't do that math off the top of my head here, but it's so minuscule that it's barely even present in the product. So just keep that in mind as you talk to people and you work with people. Of course, if it's, you know, life or death kind of gluten sensitivity, we wouldn't recommend it. But for those that generally have those sensitivities, should definitely still be fine consuming the product. Okay, next slide. So these are all the benefits. And we're going to get into this a little bit more with a clinical study. But as you can see here, I mean, look at all these great things. I mean, boosting collagen and elastin production in your skin. I might say significant and dramatic boosting of these skin proteins. Clinically proven to help you look more youthful, supports skin hydration and moisture, helps visibly reduce fine lines and wrinkles, helps protect against the damaging effects of oxidative stressors, including blue light. Level 1 SCS certified, right? Backed by our biophotonic scanner, a unique device that nobody else has and nobody else can claim in the industry. Made with 0 artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. This was actually a tricky thing because some of these are easier to use in product development, but we know that there's greater consumer demand for more natural flavors or sweeteners to use in our products. And so the challenge of making it taste good, but still use consumer-friendly ingredients, what was a challenge that we were able to accept and tackle and accomplish, in my opinion. I actually have a sample here in front of me, and I've been taking it for the last few days, hot off the press, if you will. We're getting some early batches in, and it tastes fantastic. So another claim here, helps prepare skin for better complementary benefits with new skin topical skincare regimens. So we'll get to why that is in just a few slides here. So if you want to click to the next slide, we'll talk about the clinical study behind this incredible product. So we commissioned a third-party clinical study to evaluate the efficacy of taking Beauty Focus Collagen Plus once a day for 4 months. This study used a double-blind methodology. So that means that the expert grader, who was a dermatologist, was blinded to who was receiving the placebo or to who was receiving the product, okay? And that also means that the subjects were blinded to if they were receiving the product or the placebo as well. And so it's a great way to actually get that third-party credibility or stamp of approval on what does the product actually do in terms of some of these skin attributes that we focused on and we measured. Next slide here. So this gets me excited because we wanted to make sure that Collagen Plus on its own provided some really nice clinical benefits. And as you can see here, in terms of overall appearance, texture on the skin, and radiance, we did see some dramatic increases and improvements in these skin attributes from just taking Collagen Plus compared to the placebo group. And this is from a clinical grader after 4 months. So this isn't just people saying, oh, you know, I think my skin looks more youthful in these areas. This is an expert grader, a dermatologist who, as a profession, analyzes, you know, the health of skin and looks at appearance and texture and noted a clinical significant difference here in these important skin attributes. Next slide. Yes, it is SCS level 1 certified. This was part of the study as well. We wanted to use the scanner to see how does Collagen Plus rank in terms of just its ability to boost antioxidant levels on the skin because it contains lutein, that very important carotenoid. And as you can see, right, you sip away to beautiful skin and to more protected skin. And we can measure that difference with the scanner. After 1 month, we saw a very dramatic increase. Actually, we were very shocked and surprised at how high that increase was, well over 5,000 points. And then after 4 months, there wasn't a sign of plateau. It continued to increase, which was a good sign after that dramatic bump after 1 month of supplementation. And so, you know, for those that love the scanner and use the scanner, this is a great way to measure compliance and make sure that you know, people are actually taking the product and measuring the difference to know that, hey, you know what, this is great and there's no risk to you because, you know, you use the product as directed, and on the ADR and in the US market, there's a money back guarantee. You just follow those details. You can see it on the website. And as long as you follow that, we say, do you know what? There's no risk because you get your money back if you don't see that measurable difference from the biophotonic scanner and that antioxidant protection that's going to help support that natural collagen production that's coming from taking this product. Next slide. So, but that's not all, as you can see, right? Take care of your skin from the inside out. I love this because Collagen Plus, it helps provide your skin, right, with the right nutrients that it needs to function better, right? So it has these specific collagen peptides, it has the lutein, and it has the ceramides from wheat. Well, what that does is it prepares the skin to obtain better results from the best skincare products in the world, right? So whether that be 180 or maybe Nutricentials or our transformation system or the facial spa or the line corrector or Lumen Spa, right? I mean, whatever it is, when we look at our consumer database, we know that a lot of you focus on just the skincare. And that was one of the big reasons why we developed this product and did a clinical study with Beauty Focus Collagen Plus and Lumen Spa, was to say, hey, do you know what? What if we can bridge that gap a little bit and bring some of these skincare lovers onto the side of nutrition and say, hey, do you know what? The only way to optimize beauty is to use good and the best skincare that we have. But in addition to that, you need to take care of from your beauty from within. In other words, get these nutrients inside your body that get to the skin to be able to support beauty on the outside and from the inside out. Next slide. So that's exactly what we did, is we did a clinical study as part of the same clinical study, actually, that I already showed you results with just taking Collagen Plus on its own. We wanted to see how does that compare to using it with LumiSpa daily for 4 months. And in this study, they used LumiSpa on just half the face so that our expert grade or our dermatologist could say, do you know what was the difference comparing, the product compared to the product with LumiSpa? Next slide. And as you can see here, from clinical grading after 4 months, look at that change in skin texture and skin radiance. When it comes to skin texture, I mean, that's almost an 80% improvement. It's actually a 79% improvement over baseline. That is a dramatic and significant increase from using Collagen Plus and LumiSpa together. And you can use LumiSpa on its own and see wonderful benefits to the texture of your skin. And when we think about texture, you're talking about, kind of the smoothness versus the roughness appearance on the skin. And LumiSpa, based on its, micropulse oscillating technology with those incredible cleansers that are tested to be used with the LumiSpa, provide incredible benefits to exfoliate and cleanse and treat the skin. You add that with collagen, and you almost see double the percent improvement over baseline. This isn't the number of subjects. This is the percent improvement. So just kind of imagine that for our subjects in this clinical study, almost double the benefits by combining the two together. This is why we really want to focus on combining Collagen Plus with LumiSpa to take advantage of the best of both worlds. And then in terms of radiance as well, radiance is kind of that youthful glow that we have on the skin. Placebo versus LumiSpa, a dramatic increase. And then you compare that with Collagen Plus, you see better results when you pair the two together. Next slide. Okay, this was some statistical analysis that we did on the clinical study. What we wanted to find out is, what is the probability of people ranking on this rating scale in the more youthful signs of aging? So as you can see there on the right, we have these signs of aging, or this rating scale, and we have none, minimum, and mild. This is kind of the youthful bucket, if you will, and you compare that to moderate or severe. So at the beginning of the study, or the baseline, right, this dermatologist ranked the skin and said, hey, based on your skin at this point in time, you have, let's say, mild signs of aging on the skin, or minimum signs, or moderate signs of aging for these different attributes of radiance, texture, firmness, and overall appearance. And then at the end of the study, that same ranking system was used to say, hey, after 4 months of using Collagen Plus and LumiSpa, where does your skin rank, right? Or on this rating scale, is it no signs? Is it minimum signs? Is it mild signs? Or is it in this bucket of maybe moderate to severe? And what this analysis is actually showing is, compared to baseline, the probability of your skin falling into that youthful bucket of no, minimum to mild signs of aging was dramatically better, or in your favor. I mean, you can see up in the high 90 percentiles for youthful levels of radiance, texture, and then firmness. Wasn't quite in the 90s, but still a very significant boost compared to baseline. And then overall appearance as well in the upper 90s. So if you ever wanted the odds to be in your favor of having more youthful skin, definitely take Collagen Plus combined with LumiSpa together as directed. Next slide. Okay, here in conclusion, and I think I have just maybe 1 or 2 slides right after this, but you can see that Beauty Focus Collagen Plus helps to improve the skin and prepare skin for better complementary benefits with new skin topical skincare regimens. And then taking Collagen Plus nearly doubles the visual texture benefits of an age-lock LumiSpa regimen compared to an age-lock LumiSpa regimen alone. Next slide. And just a few more things, and I'll wrap it up with this. The carton is FSC certified. So this is a new thing that you're going to see in the future with products that we're looking at, and why sustainability is such an important, not only just word in the marketplace, but something that we actually live by and look at. Please recycle, check local capabilities. But this just makes sure that the paper used in the packaging is being created from a sustainable and environmentally friendly way. The high quality pouch material, it has a nice design, has a nice seal to it. It's kind of like a little mini G3 pouch. In fact, it's the same material, specifically because of the combination of plastics that go into that. It's not going to be recyclable, so just keep that in mind. But quality came first in this regard, and we wanted to make sure that it's not going to leak out, that it's going to have a nice feel, a nice quality feel to it in terms of just the usability, the filling of the product, and how it tastes as well. And so naturally delicious. It does taste great. I've tried it myself. It's a peaches and cream flavor with just a little hint of vanilla. And it's naturally sweetened with peach juice concentrate. So 2 grams of sugar. I think some people asked, well, is there any sugar in it? There is 2 grams. It is sweetened with a little bit of stevia as well to give it kind of that nice sweet peach flavor as you drink to goodness on your skin. And then it's a full 30-day supply of ready-to-drink pouches in a carton. So keep that in mind. I know when you compare and you go look at elsewhere and what things are, sometimes others might offer maybe a 10-day supply or a 15-day supply. Just keep that in mind when you compare pricing and the value of our product, that we're offering a full 30-day supply of these ready-to-drink products. So next slide here. And it's success certified. I wish we had time. We could actually spend hours just discussing all of the specific details for this, but I won't. In just 20 seconds or less, we selected high quality ingredients to go into this Beauty from Within supplement. Sourcing was super critical because not all the ingredients are created equal, and the sourcing of these collagen peptides specifically are not equal. And so, the source and the processing was super critical to us in the selection of these ingredients. Specification, we have a long list of specifications, from making sure that it has those active ingredients in there in the right proper doses, in addition to testing on other things that are going to be safety concerns for others. So looking at yeast, mold, total bacteria, E. coli,